back on Soch ttalk Train of Thought with a series of episodes on personality with Mrs. Aditi Gupta. She is a professional marketer and a soft skill trainer and also founder of Mrs. India UK. Ma'am, welcome to this episode
so
on
much.
personality. I think in the last episode we did spoke in terms of what personality is all about, and we did spoke in terms of an ABC concept as appearance, behavior, and the communication
Right.
aspects like. And now, in fact, in this episode, I think we'd like to have more insights in terms of about the overall outlook and the body language which is concerned. How important is then as far as the personality which is concerned?
So, like I said, ki appearance, behavior and communication is something which are the most important elements of a personality, of an overall personality. What is the image of the person? Over here, I would say ki what is personality made of? So, you can understand that there are two elements that we actually, whenever we present ourselves, there are two things that are present in us. One is the energy part and one is the vibrations, the vibes. So whenever a person is coming inside and meeting you, you always say, oh, she looks like a personality, she looks like a positive
Energy
kind of a person.
body.
So what is that energy that you are transmitting? What are those vibrations and what are those vibes that you are passing on to the other person is also one of the most silent but very significant part of your personality. Sometimes you also meet people, you meet strangers, but you start defining, right? Okay, this looks like a positive personality. After communication, you know, oh, I didn't like the communication, right? So it becomes very important to understand what kind of energy you're getting and passing to the other person, because you are transmitting those vibes, those positive vibes, negative vibes to other people, and they do reflect your personality. So these are the two elements, which are you constantly have to understand. Now another thing is, what are the levels of, if we have to understand, okay, we are communicating, but how are we communicating? So let's understand the three levels. Okay, so what are the three levels? Would be non-verbal, which is the body language. What we are talking about, that is the first level. You enter, you sit down, you don't do anything. People are observing, you are in a meeting room, you enter, you sit down. Sometimes you enter, you sit peacefully. You feel okay, that is okay. Sometimes people come with, oh, hi, hello, good morning, that vibe is already there, you project. Or sometimes you just come, bang the things, like, you're frustrated and you had to travel in that train and it was raining and your umbrella got, broke and everything, and then you come with a frustrated kind of a vibe. So that kind of creates an atmosphere, okay, he's not in a good mood. Immediately with the actions you start. So first level is, yes, non-verbal and the body language. Second is vocal, which is your voice. Okay, sometimes when you're talking, sometimes when you're communicating a message, your voice plays very important role in how you're communicating. If I say, oh, I'm happy to be here, you won't really like it. But if I say, oh, I'm happy to be here,
the energy which flows,
energy
body
which
postures
flows,
and everything,
the kind of, the usage of your voice, usage of your vocals becomes very important. Why do we scold kids? And why do, when we are scolding kids, our voice becomes little different? Correct. So that is the best element. When we are asking for some reviews or feedback, suddenly the boss becomes the boss voice. Right? It is otherwise not. So vocal is one of the levels and very important in your personality. And the third is the verbal. Verbal is purely communication. How do you communicate and what is the usage of words, what kind of statements you're using, whether it is positive statements, whether they are power statements. There can be ample examples where you are exchanging a conversation, but there is always a way to put statements in a way where people actually feel that, okay, they believe in themselves. Whatever you're communicating, even in the work culture or anywhere, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get things done. You're trying to get work done. Right? Now, by scolding and by yelling or being rough and communicating in a very harsh language is not going to support. Because if I have to put myself into that particular person's place also, see, every person is going to be unique, but how you motivate that person, how you positively try to bring that change in mindset or the discipline or the attitude becomes very, very essential. So over your words, your tone, your clarity, your conciseness of the speech, a lot of elements come into the picture when we talk about the verbal communication. And voice, of course, when we were talking about vocal, it is high pitch, low pitch, how do you actually communicate? Some people are even if you're, 100 people, their voice is so low that it's not even visible to the first bench.
Correct.
Right? So that is how you need to develop your vocals where you are able to express everyone. And then when we talk about, the flow of energy, it is always to be positive, fun, and there are ample experiments where, the simplest example I would say, talking to plants. A lot of people feel that yes, talking to plants nicely or in a good way, or just it's like a transfer of a non-verbal energy to them. And then they automatically, you will see the difference if the plant is dying. There have been ample experiments, but this is of course something which our vibe is also passed on to the other non-verbal elements also. And this is how the flow of energy is created, not just with humans but the living beings around you as well.
Correct.
So now let's talk about the body language part. What is the body language? Often people feel this is the way I am, this is how I feel brought up and all. But like we also discussed, it's a transition and it's a continuous process. So when we talk about body language, there is postures, how you sit, how you stand, how you walk, how you are behaving in a way that your body language communicates. Then your gestures, where you are using your hands, legs, or ample gestures whenever we're sitting and we are talking, or when even at the dinner table, or just meetings and all. The gestures also play an important part because the other person is continuously perceiving something.
Correct.
Like if I'm in a meeting and if I'm just like sitting like that, then obviously you get to know that person is not interested or probably is bored. But if I say okay, that is it, and making notes, or having that probably sparkle in the eye, immediately reflects the interest of the person. Another part is the gestures. Like a lot of times, a lot of people, of course the public speakers also use a lot of hand gestures to point out things, to get, yes, let's do it. Like we know that this is the action for let's do it, and I'm all energetic to go forward. I can't do like let's do it, okay, let's do it. So the gestures also convey a lot without even saying things.
Correct.
So that is something which even a body language communicates in a non-verbal scenario. And then actions, your actions. How are you, entering, or basic example, like if you enter a meeting room and if you start banging and throwing things, and of course you know it, okay, the mood is not right. Okay, so actions also speak louder than words, as you say about the personality, right? Plus, whenever if you're meeting a lot of people, you kind of observe people, and that is how even in networking events also people start approaching you. You may not talk to everyone, but you do observe their body language, their facial expressions, their gestures, whether they seem interested or they want to quietly just be here and move out, or they are like, no, okay, I don't want to meet anyone, I'm just here standing, observing and going. So this becomes very important for everyone to consciously put an effort on the body language, so that it's not intimidating. It's either you can be little neutral, or it's approachable, or if you're interested, not interested. So a lot of actions create that kind of atmosphere in which you belong to. And then the last and most is of course expressions, where you are conveying direct message to the person who is listening to you, right? Whether you are happy, whether you are whether you are bored. A lot of times, how come the teachers pick up a student who is actually not attentive?
Correct.
Right?
You can make out from your
You can make out. How does a boss ask that particular individual who has absolutely not done or fulfilled his targets?
Correct.
So they do. The expressions play a lot of role. There are very rarely a human cannot express themselves in certain situations, whether it's happiness, sadness, or depressed, or anger, anguish. So I think that is something which your entire body language is communicating, which is a most essential part of a non-verbal communication in your personality development. And this is one of the biggest elements that you need to consciously develop, because everything is there in the mind. You also understand that, okay, I need to sit down in a proper way, I need to communicate in a proper way. I cannot, like, if I'm scolding at someone, I'm not going to bang my hand, and that is the part which consciously you need to develop in a personality. And like you said, that actions do speak louder than words. And when you are conveying a message, make sure that the rule is have that harmony. When you're saying something, please mean it, but mean it in a right way. Have those actions and words replicating and complementing each other, whether it is anger or whether it is happiness or whether it is something that you are actually motivating the other person. So in case if I have to tell a child, okay, go do it, just go do it, let's do it
in a more energetic
makes
way, like
a lot of difference for anyone. Even in the corporate scenarios I have seen, as Indians we follow the bamboo treatment. It's like, okay, jab tak we don't scold, they will not do it.
correct.
But try the other way.
Correct.
Try the other way. Try to say that, okay, let's do it. Or try the other way, okay, can I help you? Or what is it that you're stuck at? Am I able to offer any inputs on it or insights on it? It will make a huge difference because you are looking for a longer term association with a lot of people around you, and it does make a difference to build teams and create those leaders ahead you as well.
Correct. I think it's an great insights given on the personality as such. We spoke in terms of the overall appearance and the approach which is there, and also in terms of an non-verbal communications. And like normally when we talk in terms of we need to create a healthy atmosphere, like how one should communicate with the others, how the body language plays an important role. I think if one practices that, I'm sure with sincerity can make a lot of difference and can have an happy working place as such. And thanks a lot for your valuable insights as far as how to improve your overall personality in terms of work on your outlook and the body language, and how like normally in terms of the verbal and the non-verbal communication works. Thank you very much. Do catch up with Mrs. Aditi Gupta on our next episode of ttalk ek Boond Soch Ki on personality. Till then, go to www.ttalk.net, subscribe and like the channel as much as you can. Thank you very much. Ma'am, thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
So much.